The issue of Kandi and Todd is a cautionary tale. I remember when I first watched that show. I think it was the beginning of the following season. I don't know if it was season three. And in the beginning, it was like now they were pairing the men in there. It wasn't just the women, it was now the men, or I think other women had husbands. And in the beginning of that show, I believe it was the first episode, there was this pairing of Kandi and Todd. And I think Phaedra was hooking them up. But it seemed more contrived. It really didn't seem based on real love and attraction. It seemed more like the first thing that came to my mind is a storyline, but have a storyline, but now with a husband or some so called partner attached to them. And I did not see an attraction on Todd's part. It seemed more like there was an enthusiasm, but it didn't seem to be coming from a place of love. It seemed to be coming from a place more of adventure. With Kandi, it didn't look like it was love either. It looked like it was more of storyline, maybe working together, but I never felt that Kandi had any attraction. And that was the good thing, because usually sometimes one person has more emotion for the other, and the one who has more emotion loses their power. And see, this is why this is not needed, and this is the problem with when we create institutions and try to validate people's self-worth by it. And I really think that the only reason Kandi went into this was because of the appearance of marriage, because I guess it looked good to say you were married, the whole appearance of it. And she stood on business to a certain degree, because when they were going to get married, there was no prenup, and he was kind of pushing it. And I remember her, she did not play. She raised her voice. She said, we're not doing this marriage until there's a prenup. And he conceded and said, well, if we break up, I just don't need you to throw me right out on the street. Can you give me some time to find a place? And they came to some consensus. And this could have been avoided. This is the problem when people attach an importance to marriage, that now we're starting to see there really is no importance for it. And Kandi did not have to put herself in this situation. She really didn't. It wasn't like she was in love with him. No one's going to convince me of that. And he had no respect for her. I'm going to be honest. I'm shocked that they lasted this long. I didn't think they were going to last this long. I thought 3 years tops. After a while, I could see some contempt. The way he spoke to her, there was one time they were lying in bed and she was talking about their intimacy, that they barely were intimate. And she was saying at the very least once a week. And then he said something about the bonnet. And this thing, who is no looker by anyone's standards, in my opinion, had the nerve to say, oh, you're no Rihanna. Really? That's what you say to someone on national TV? Why would you do that? And then Kandi tries to gloss it over like that's not the thing to say. Not only is it not the thing to say at that point, that you should have dissolved everything, not that you should ever have been married to him at all. And then there's another video of him saying that she's nasty. Then she's getting her hair done, and he's saying something about, oh, letting the man lead, and when you make your money. You could see the jealousy and contempt. And my question is, Kandi, why? It was not like you were in love with this guy. It's not like you needed him. You had way more worth than him in every imagination. And here you are going through what seems like it's going to be a messy divorce. All that could have been avoided. But of course, all in the name of image, social approval, and this joke we call marriage. So I just hope that, I think we're really changing. You're seeing less and less women being pushed into it. And don't do things for appearances. Don't do things because the society pushes you, because this is going to be expensive. And I was listening to Ebony K. Williams. Remember Ebony K. Williams? The whole thing with the bus driver. I listened to her on a podcast, and she just said that because of all of this nonsense, that's why she decided to get a donor, because she did not want to be dealing with this kind of nonsense where she has to pay child support, and this is the money, and she's the one making the money. And all because you aligned yourself with someone beneath you. Stand your ground, love yourself. You don't need to, if your worth is based on attaching yourself to a pair of pants, you might as well give up. You have no worth. Your worth comes from within. Your worth comes from the Almighty. Your worth comes from loving yourself, not human approval. That's it. That's all.